the emails and stuff.
Hi everyone, this
Hey.
is Jena with Brand.blog, and I've got David Roberts with Roberts High Performance, and this is part of the Business Growth Network's Vision Challenge, and this is the first day. David has informed me I have housekeeping to do. So, item number one was I was trying to make sure that nobody moved forward to challenge number 2 before having completed number 1, and I accidentally sent some of you challenge 2. So definitely make sure you do challenge 1 before you skip over to number 2. Sorry about that. I will fix that and work on that. And then the second one is, and what makes this particular vision challenge different than the beta that we did before, is that instead of an editable PDF, that there was a lot of problems and it didn't work as well with smartphones and tablets.
Right.
We have Evernote templates, which are fantastic and great for when we're having to switch over and you're done with Vision Challenge and you're moving over to your Dream Vision and alignment. Makes everything so much easier, but I know a lot of you are not familiar with Evernote, and it's awesomeness. It is a free application that you can download and you can use it straight from the internet, or you can actually download the application onto your computer or to your smartphone, tablet, whatever. I will go on to do a screenshot today before 6 o'clock and get it posted up either in a separate email or in the Vision Challenge, something. I'll get something out today that shows you exactly from my screen how do you use that Evernote template, pull it up, and set it up on your own.
That'll be great.
It'll be probably just a separate email just for Evernote. I know it can be a little tricky, but you will find that once you get used to it, the templates that you can get from different businesses, not just ours, the Business Growth Network, but with everybody, there's some really amazing templates out there that will simplify your business and your personal life a lot.
And I think the most important thing really is, and this should be the kind of your I would say your default position. Don't do anything here and get frustrated with how we're asking you to do it. In other words, don't try to figure out Evernote and spend an hour or two trying to do that. So if you run into a problem, you run into a snag, something doesn't make sense to you, especially early on, then ask. Post it on the Facebook page, in the Facebook Vision Challenge, in the Vision Challenge group with your question. And then that way we can address it and you won't spend a lot of time getting frustrated. So the most important thing is this is interactive and there's no dumb questions. There's nothing that's unacceptable to ask.
And I prefer the questions because every time you ask a question, I can go into our systems and make sure that it's better for not just you, but for the next person moving forward.
And chances are there's other people that have the question and just haven't had the courage or taken the time to ask.
And journaling by hand is fine too.
Right.
Some people just need to write, but for the techies out there and the people who are on the go,
well, I find journaling it right. I have my little book actually, and I write it down in my little book, and I find that by writing it by hand in my book like this, and then taking that and then later kind of formalizing it into an Evernote or into the journal here, it gives me 2 passes at it so that I kind of edit my thought. Now that doesn't mean you have to do it that way. I just find
do the way
that
works
reinforces
best for you,
it for me.
That you'll actually get done. I prefer Evernote because I can use it everywhere.
Sure.
I don't have to keep up with a book or read my sloppy handwriting afterwards. But definitely, however you need to get it done, get it done. If you have a problem with something, please ask. That is what the Vision Challenge group is entirely for, is for you to ask your questions so we can help you get through this.
Right.
So that you have the best experience possible, you have the best marketing material afterwards, that you have a dream vision when we're done, and we want it to be easy as possible, okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to ask here live with Facebook. I get a little running tabulation here at the bottom with all your questions. And if you are watching this after the live,
you can still
keep on asking your questions as you're watching. And David and I will be monitoring it throughout the next 2 or 3 weeks. So ask away, and let's get your Vision Challenge knocked out.
And I'm really pumped about this time around. So I'm really excited. I'm actually personally very excited about doing it again. For one thing, Jena told me I didn't do enough last time.
I didn't either.
And I don't think she did either. I mean, we were
ready, though.
we were so focused on making sure that it was good for
Everyone
the people
else.
participating that we didn't probably spend enough time focusing on our own journey. But it is 2017 now, in case you have missed that the year has changed.
Yes, it is.
And this is, I fully expect that the people on this journey for 2017 to be the best year ever for everybody. I mean, for me, I expect that there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming along in our that are outside of the Vision Challenge, in our geopolitics, in our geo everything, our genomics. There's so many things changing to the technology, and it's changing faster and faster. And I just think us having clarity on the things that we're going to talk about here is going to totally allow us to jump in, those of us in the Vision Challenge, and really make hay for the changes that everybody else is going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening.
What's the phrase you have, the wave, the tidal wave?
Yeah, you can either be affected by it, or you can affect it, or you can take advantage of it. Yeah, because
Wait, the picture that I'm describing is he has a picture in a presentation, and it's like Manhattan being swallowed up by a tsunami, and the other one is the same large wave, but you have a surfer on it who's
Right.
taking advantage of the giant wave.
who's anticipated the wave, looking forward to the wave, is really going to enjoy the wave, and he's going to have the most massive, awesome surfing experience ever. And there's a lot of things that's required for him to enjoy it, but the first thing is he has to plan for it and know how to surf, for one thing, and have a desire to surf, because I've tried.
Gotta have a surfboard.
I borrowed somebody else's when I learned in Hawaii, but I would say learned is probably a loose interpretation. I got up on the board. That was about it. And I think I made it from about where we're sitting here to maybe that wall over there before it took me under. But it was exciting.
And you learn. Once you learn more. So
Yeah.
my daughter, completely side topic, but we did the Royal Caribbean cruise,
Right.
and they have like the faux surfing waves that you
Oh.
can learn how to surf. And she got up there, and she learned really quick you can't effectively surf in a bikini without exposing yourself.
Yeah, that can cause a problem. I don't have that. I didn't have that problem, but yeah, it was a lot more work than I realized. So anyway, so today, the first day, we're talking about the why.
Why?
The why. For me, the why, and one of the things is one of the reasons what the difference between this time and last time is we didn't do
Number one at all.
one as far as the Facebook Live. We kind of decided that after we got to day 2, right?
Yes.
So we didn't do it for day 1, and I think that as we followed up with folks and we saw how things went, getting to day 2 without having at least focused to some degree on day 1 with a why kind of can muddy those two up, or you can kind of get those together, and they're very distinctive. In fact, every day here, even though it may sound like you're coming back to similar things, they're very intentional and very specific for that day.
And specifically in a specific order.
Right. Yeah.
Intentionally.
Yeah, it's not jump to, if you're a BGN insider, which if you made that cutoff, congratulations, you got a deal, and we're excited to be putting the content of the Vision Challenge and everything out there.
It's already up there.
It's out there
for the deal.
Yeah, so if you happen to jump into that or say, I was going to get a head start, you said, well, I already know the answers to day 5, so I'm going to do day 5, right?
Do them in order.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, it's going to actually make, when you get finally to day 1 and 2, that are really the most important, the most foundational anyway, then you won't have the best product for your day 1 and 2. And so so day 1, the why, okay, you've heard how do you describe something? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. So when you start to say, okay, why am I doing why do I get up? Why is your soul? I've got 5 kids. So you ever have kids ask you why?
Oh my God.
You say,
No. They ask you why like 100
100
times until you're down slide because God willed it so. Can you please be quiet?
And that's actually perfect, because Jena has kids, I have kids. The whole thing is, when you're genuinely curious and you want to understand, when you want your child to do something, I want you to do this, and I know you don't want to do it. but it's going to be worth it. And then they say why, and you say because, and you go through this because you're going to be a better person. Well, why do I want to be a better person? Why, because you're going to make money. Well, why do I want to make money? The point is,
but it's effective.
Yeah.
For adults to do that to themselves.
That's what you need to do to yourself here. This is
really understand.
If you really want to have the best why you can come up with, it's going to be something. It's not, the why isn't your business. The why isn't how much money you have in your bank account. Your why isn't a lot of these things that we tend to say, well, I'm getting up in the morning because I want to have a lot of money. Well, unfortunately, I think if you don't realize it now, you will realize it before you get through that isn't the thing that's going to get you up in the morning or get you through.
I feel like money's a motivating factor. Like money for something is a motivating factor.
Yeah.
Like my why has always been my kids.
Right.
Like I want to make sure that they've got all the advantages and doors open they can possibly have open. So why? I have them in an incredible Montessori school.
Right.
My son's reading now after a year. So my why is I need to make money. I want money, but I want it so I can keep him in those schools. So I can send, Caitlin's going to Paris for spring break. That kind of learning opportunity. So the why, money might be involved, but the bigger why is opportunities for my children.
And then if we were really doing this real time, I would then talk to Jena and say, but why? Because the thing is, why do you want to do it? I mean, what is it about you? I mean, you really have, one of the things you'll hear me say over and over and over again, I think you even put a meme or a picture there, is your story, your dream story, your dream vision begins and ends with you.
There was a quote from you. Yeah, I pulled it from your blog.
Yeah, it begins and ends with you. So when you think about your why, it's only yours. Now, mine may sound like Jena's may sound like, the fact is, if you get to...
but the why of the why will always be very different.
Right. So, and the thing is then how you determine that you're going to achieve your why can be very situational, it can be temporal, it can be something that occurs at a given point in time, but your why will stay the same. You can have a different company in the same why. You can have a different relationship and have the same why. You can have different financial situation and have the same why. Or your why can get bigger or more defined over time. So it's not like you have to come up with the do-all, be-all, end-all why here. But let's be a little more intentional and a little less cursory in terms of, okay, this is my why, because I want to make... I mean, my why is really, I learned, my why kind of started when I was in a position where I could retire from corporate America, and I had a 7-digit, I had a big income, I had all of the stuff, all the things that people have, but
stuff's not enough. I
said to myself, but why am I getting up every morning? Why am I getting on a plane? I've logged over 4 million miles on airlines.
4 million?
Yeah, I've got 3.2 on American Airlines. By the way, this is an American Airlines ad, but I'm a lifetime executive platinum, which means absolutely nothing out of Dallas Fort Worth. I mean, not lifetime executive. I wish I was a lifetime executive platinum. You have to earn that by year. I'm a lifetime platinum. That's less impressive. So anyway, but that was all good. And somebody say, wow, man, I wish I could go to Paris, and I wish I could do this, and I wish I could do that. I wish I made all that money. But the reality of it is that wasn't my why. My why was about making a difference to the people that I love and care about, and the people that I'm fortunate enough to have an opportunity to be around, and not just blow in, make a bunch of money, go on to the next deal. And so I came to that place, and my why, no matter what I'm doing, and I do a lot of different things, whether it's the Vision Challenge, whether it's working with a CEO, whether it's whatever, my whole focus, my why for doing that is, at the end of the day, how I used my time mattered. It mattered to somebody other than myself, because your why ultimately ends up being bigger than you. I mean, you're existing right now, so if you're existing and your why is there and you're comfortable and your why is to be comfortable, you probably aren't going to do anything with this challenge, right? Because if your why is just, okay, I've got it all under control, I don't need anymore. But if you want something transformational, you got to first understand your why. You want something where you say, okay, this year is going to be different than last year. This year is going to be better. And if you want it to be significantly better, then really, hi Sandra, then you're going to want to really get clear on the why. And the why will become especially beneficial to you if you haven't already looked at day 2. When you get into
Sorry about that.
When you get into day 2, it will be very important because your why is underpinning that dream story or that dream vision. So we have some prompts and they're on the email, and these are intended not to be totally constraining, but in fact stimulating in terms of helping you to think about your why. And there's no wrong answer, and we can't wait for you to share it. And I'm going to share mine in a shorter form than I just did.
Well, there's 2 sets of prompts since this is the first challenge to kind of explain. There's a set of prompts that's like the overreaching questions, and some of the answers in these particular questions are going to be more personal and not something you want to share. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but this is more intended for you to get the bigger picture out there, to ask the deeper questions, get the deeper meaning. And then there is a second set of questions, or one singular question, with the intention of posting it publicly, keyword publicly, either on your business page or on your public social media pages, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, Google Plus, I don't know anybody use Google Plus, LinkedIn for business to business type industries. And that one's gonna, it's gonna maybe explain the why, but it's not gonna go real in depth, on a personal level. It's gonna keep it copacetic and business. So for the prompts that we have that I want you to, go in depth in, one of the questions is, when did you first come up with the idea for your business and what struck you about it?
Okay.
And I don't mean like when you were starting to put things together, but there was a individual point in time when you woke up at 3 in the morning.
You had an aha moment.
Yeah,
you said, I've got to go do this. This is a reason, but what was that? Like you say, when did that idea come into your head, and what was it that prompted that? Because your why generally, even though maybe this was the best product you'd ever thought, or you were at a place where that did, but the why is going to be the underpinning. Why did that resonate with you? Why did I have that aha moment?
I had an uncle of mine. He never intended to go into business, and he didn't actually turn it into his own business. He just sold it. His wife, my aunt, had major lung smoking related issues, emphysema, all that stuff that comes with that. And she had all this medical equipment, and he's the guy who works on airplanes that he can literally go into a shop and create whatever he needs. If it doesn't exist, he can build it.
Okay, he can make a part. Yeah, he's a machinist.
With her medical devices and stuff, there was a hard task or something, and there was no machine to help automate it or help do it. You had to do it manually. So he created a machine to do it. So his why was, there's this missing piece. And obviously, lots of people have medical issues
and have the same problem,
have the
right?
exact same problems. And he was able. The medical assistant was coming to the home, saw it, was like amazed. Told her boss, who called the guy, and they bought the rights to it and to build it for everybody. So
that's cool. Yeah.
That's a why. There was a missing point.
Yeah.
And it's very personal. It's your wife, and he filled it.
So that was the why underlying the generation of his business, and so on and so. And the thing is, he's obviously got there's some whys underpinning why he does what he does. He likes.
That's the first why.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of other stuff. Well, you'll understand more about your why, but if you can first understand, have some clarity on your why, and some of these prompts. Why is it different than any other is one of the questions, one of the prompts that we have in here.
And that's the basis for what's called a unique selling proposition. And there's a couple other different things it's called. But it starts to, why are you different? Why is your solution different? Your service different? Your product different?
Actually, I like, why are you different? Because again, I'm very, very much about you. That whatever you're doing, and you could be an entrepreneur, what I call an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur. You can be doing something, or an entrepreneur. That's somebody who is who has embraced their entrepreneurial desires through using another company. They may be an employee. They may be an employee within a company, or they may be an independent business owner, like in Pampered Chef or Rodan
Okay, I
Fields,
like that
or
word.
so I and I'm not. That's not. There's nothing
to reread
dispar.
this.
There's really nothing is disparaging about
Hi,
that.
Randy.
Hey, Randy. There's nothing disparaging about the term entrepreneur. I just feel it's distinctive.
No, I like it because
gives-
I always have a hard time trying to describe the Vision Challenge, that it's more than the entrepreneur, and
Right.
now I have a word.
Right.
Entrepreneur. Okay.
So I think it's very important.
Randy's at the Arboretum.
Oh man,
Such a nice
that would be
day
a
to be
cool
out there.
place. That would be a good backdrop here instead of this wood. But anyway,
I like that word.
Yeah.
I totally got you off, so I'm sorry.
so what? Well, one of the other prompts is, what do you believe about the work you're doing? Again, we're wanting you to break out of where you are and where you've been and think about a transformational vision as to where you're going forward. And if you want to think of it in terms of 2017, that's awesome. If you can say, okay, I'm starting the year, I started the year here.
Actually, I would love
but
that.
If
I would
but
love
if
to
anything
see-
were if anything
yeah.
were possible as we get into the next one, what's going to look like next year at this time? That would be awesome. If you can even just look out a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes time is too constraining for people because they get hung up on the what and the why and the where and the when and they get hung up on. So the why is there and the desire is there, but how do I get there? We don't want you to get hung up on that. We want to understand the
Well,
why.
and like I mentioned, I was doing like a daily one thing kind of mastermind with clients.
Right.
And somebody had posted, they were really, really frustrated with like their workout goals. Because lots of people did the New Year's resolutions.
Right.
And,
Sure.
And he's like, just remember, we're only 3% into the way of the year, and you're expecting to be 30% of the way through your goal.
Right.
For a year. Like, keep time in mind.
Well, people often overestimate what they can accomplish in a short period of time and dramatically underestimate what can be accomplished over a long period of time with a sustained effort on a path. And that's why it's important to define that, where am I going, what my why, remind myself first as to why I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Because guess what? When you find that why, and you start looking at what you are doing and what you want to do and where you're going, it'll probably help you refine and streamline some of the ways that you're using your most valuable asset, which is your time.
Well, it helps you say yes to the important things and then no to the other things. Because every time you say yes to something, you have to say no to something else.
Right.
Just
Yeah, we only got 24 hours in the day. So at some point you've got to decide.
And the why, like when you start to break down it too, it becomes meaningful, not just to you as a person and what you do with that and help knowing your why, but it becomes meaningful to share. So in business, sometimes we like to keep it, very business to business. We want to keep it very serious. I was talking to somebody at the Lunch and Learn this last Friday with Randy. Randy was speaking.
And you did an awesome job, by the way, Randy. This is a plug for watch his video too.
One of the things he mentioned to me is he had zero desire to be on social media and make friends. He just wanted to use social media for business. And, one of the hiccups there is, don't get me wrong, I totally get not wanting to be like buddy pals on social media and get into that if that's not your thing. But building business is about building relationships that go beyond, just business. When you know somebody, when you can break bread with somebody, have drinks with somebody, and be their friend and genuinely care about them and their success in their own business and their life, they're much more apt to do business with you because they know that you care. So if they know your why, they know why you're doing anything, why you are in business to begin with, it matters and it builds a stronger relationship. Hi, Randy.
Okay, Randy, we'll see you later. You can watch this later. We're almost done anyway. But yeah, your why ends up being not only important to you as you do this, but as Jena was saying, as you begin to communicate with those around you and you want to do something good for them. The funny thing is I will do things, and again, my situation is different than other people. I'm not looking to spend my time, I'm looking to invest my time. And so I want to do things that matter. And then somebody will say, well, why are you spending this time with me? Why are you investing in the Vision Challenge? Why are you investing in doing this? And if you don't understand my why, then you're going to be suspect of me. like I'm okay. My why might, oh, he just wants to take advantage of me. There's a kicker here. This is too good to be true. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is what is behind ultimately your business? What is behind your offering? What is behind the offers you make? What is
I'll give an example. The Business Growth Network.
Right.
So half the reason I like doing this is I was trying to train people on marketing
Sure.
in my own business, but that was too much different from implementation in an agency that I'm working with. But I have a huge heart, and it's hard for me to watch small business owners
struggle
fail and struggle. And I'm like,
Right.
there's such simple things that you could be doing that can completely change your outcomes. So how do you help all those small business owners? How do you cut out all the mistakes that you've already made and watch others not struggle with it?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's interesting because you get frustrated. I love, for example, my wife Cheryl has her team on Pampered Chef is called Team Starfish.
Starfish.
And I don't know if you know, have you ever heard the story about the guy walking along the beach where all the starfish the night before on the Gulf? A lot of times the tide will come in and all these starfish will wash up on the beach, and then the tide will recede. And then what happens is you have all these starfish all along the beach. And one day this guy was walking on the beach and he sees this guy walking along, and he'd pick up a starfish and he'd throw it back into the ocean. He'd walk a little further, he'd pick up a starfish and throw it back into the ocean. Pick up another starfish, throw it back into the ocean. Finally the guy walks up to him and says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm putting if the starfish stay out here on the shore, they're going to die." And he said, "Well, there's there's thousands of starfish or whatever. You can't possibly save them all." He says, "What difference does it make?" He picks one up and he throws it. Made a difference to him. So the thing is, we get frustrated because we look at, if you want to have an impact, if your why is something very large, whether it's if your goal is very large or your why is very large or you want to make a difference, how do I do that on scale? Part of what we're doing with the Vision Challenge is I can sit down with a person one-on-one, and it's very time costly.
Yes.
And it can be very expensive if I'm monetizing that. But here, we can share some of the things
and help lots of people.
Lots of people. Anybody that chooses.
Well, like Randy's video,
to sign in.
I think before we even left the room, 150 people had seen his video.
Right.
So he had the people who were able to show up physically, and then plus 125 other more people, and that was just before we left the room.
And that's one of the brilliant things about Facebook Live. That's why we opted to do this, because it's live, and there might be one or two people watching while we're live, but then we end up with thousands of people watching the video afterwards. I mean, we did a little promotion, but that one video that we did from the training 2 weeks ago.
Oh, my husband looked at it. He was like
3,000
scrolling, and he was like, "Holy cow! 2,000 people saw your video. What happened?" I was like, "What do you care?"
Yeah. Well,
but
there was over 1,000. I mean, there was over 1,000. I don't remember the number, but that were organic.
Yes.
They weren't even ones that we had actually got
Over
it out
time,
there.
one person views it more, more people see it organic.
Sure.
So, beauty of Facebook.
Yeah, so it does get it out there, and it can get your message out there, and it can.
So my battery's totally running out, and so I'm going to skip over to the public posting.
Sure. Yeah, get to the public posting so we can.
Now, the public posting is if you have know how to use any of the image things like Snapper or Tipic, or can make a picture, totally make a picture of this. If you can't, go ahead and just do it straight text, make a video of it, whatever the best way is to communicate over social media for you. Teresa did a great job. She just used a flat picture of like a sunset and wrote the text, and that worked great for her. But we want you to declare your line, and we have 3 different options to choose from. One is I am inspired by, and kind of fill in the blank for your company and you. The second is I am passionate about helping, blank. And the third was my why is, which is just really simple and straightforward. And I know I answered one and posted it and shared it again today, and I'll probably go ahead and do the second 2 just as an example.
Right.
And share those over in the Vision Challenge so everyone can see them. But get those answered. I mean, these are really simple. Even if you don't get in depth on the front end on those big questions, you can knock out one of these questions really fast.
Yeah, the why is not that hard to do, but it is that hard to do. I mean, it is. I mean, it's hard because the hard part should be really getting real, really being authentic with yourself,
And the Vision Challenge, the first week, I think that was a big hiccup for people finishing it. It's very real. It's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of in-depth, introspective.
Yeah, and don't beat yourself up to this. Again, this isn't intended to be a stress out thing. It will. We did say coming in that it is going to be work. If you really want the results, you're going to have to. You're going to get out of it
What you put in.
what you put in. You might get a little more than what you put in, but not much. So the thing is, you need to put the effort in because it's your business, it's your life, it's your dream vision, it's what you want to do. And we want to, and what we get out of this, and part of my why, is if you come out of this and say, that really changed my life, that changed my business, that made a difference to me, and I'm always going to be better off because you were here, Dave. You actually did something. Then to me, that's the only thing I can take beyond the grave is having mattered in people's lives. And so, to me, that helps my why. So when I know that I'm helping your why. So I love the snap. I just started using that. And prior to that, I did the low-tech way, which Jena was talking about, where I would find a picture that I liked, and then in the comments or the description of the picture, I would put the words, and I could put more words that way. The snap actually forces me to condense it down into a meme or into
the brevity is awesome. Like, to put some perspective this to the people who did this during our beta, the ones who posted publicly, they posted their friends, they posted on their business page. Roger Wakefield, he's a plumber.
Right.
His wife helped him actually do a complete blog post based on the Vision Challenge, at least for the first couple. And I really found the results to be amazing. And they got clients out of it.
Right.
Because you're sharing all the right things. You're not selling, you're sharing, and you're building a relationship and a connection without even trying too hard. You're bettering yourself, and your clients will be able to see that. And I mean, Roger, his blog post was just amazing. And over the past couple months, I've watched that develop and where his wife has taken from those posts and moved on, and you can see the integrations into their marketing and their sales copy, and it's really awesome. So enjoy Monday's post on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and take time with your why, and like a 5-year-old, keep asking why at the end of every sentence.
Yeah, just pretend that you're talking to yourself, and you've got a 5-year-old child with infinite curiosity, wanting to really understand why you're embarking on this journey of transformation and taking your business to the next level. And that's the why that hopefully will underpin everything you do from here on out.
Can't wait to send you number 2, and we'll be back in your Facebook Live feed. So have a great day.
Have an awesome day.